Hey team, how are we going? It is Kaz from the Trenches with Kaz. I'll just change these goggles because I was doing a deep dive into the information. And tonight is based on a request that I got today to cover JD Vance's speech in Munich, where he absolutely sets fire to the European Union that have been sitting on their hands for way too long, to NATO that doesn't carry out their side of the bargain financially, but still expects foreign powers to continually pay the bills for coalition forces to do the dying on their behalf. Well, tonight, we're going to see what happens when a leader, when a lion, when JD Vance steps up, former Democrat, now president of the USA, and possibly even the next president, number 48, commander-in-chief of the USA. Before we do that, some quick call-outs to Bin Bar Platoon that are about to commence their IT training, their initial deployment training at the School of Infantry. To those guys, there is an element of lucky and need. And welcome to the family. Duty first is our motto as they prepare for war. Now, how do you tell people that my job is to prepare for war? It's exactly what it is. When your job description is to seek out and close the enemy, to kill or capture him, to seize and hold ground, to repel attack by day or night, regardless of sea or terrain, our job is to prepare for war, not for fucking cyclones. So to those guys, if I had a hat on, I'd take it off to you. Also to Emmy, thank you very much for letting me know how well you've done. One of the most inspirational 20-year-olds named Emmy, who's going for Navy, comes from a family of military. You know, speaking to her on Patreon has been an absolute treat. Also, Quentin, he knows what his name is. It's an unusual name. Fantastic guy, 6'5". I'm not going to mention surnames, all that sort of stuff. I protect your identity. But tonight we're going to do something different. And the reason why we're going to be listening to JD Vance at his speech at Munich, where he kicks ass on a recommendation today, is the fact that you need to understand that politics is upstream from us serving our nation. You need to know that the right people that command us, that never do, that do the bleeding, you know, that do all the talking while the young men do the falling, that you are being led by either sheep or lions, or sheepdog at least. So tonight we're going to look into that. Murphy Shepherd, how you going, mate? We're good. Harry M. Bam, on your request today, mate. Here we go. We've got peppers, Canaan peppers, right here. Hey, you can't stay for long, stuck in a hotel with nothing. Emergency work run. So I have to conserve my phone. Go and get some tucker in. Be good, but don't take advantage of the ladies that aren't illegal immigrants that are going to come and clean the room tomorrow. How you doing, Kaz? I'm doing well, Dwayne. I'm doing well. Today has been frantic, but I'm okay. We may not get to here tonight because people seem to be allergic to politics and think it doesn't affect them until it affects them. So tonight's going to be a bit of an education for me, a bit of an education for you. But JD Vance used to be a Democrat. Yeah. Then he kept watching Donald Trump. What I've got to get in on this because he's going to give me, like JFK Jr., RFK Jr., okay, like Vivek, you know, like Tulsi Gabbard. All of these big names are now working with the protocols of the USA across the aisle because they love the vision, they love the platform, and have been given a meritocracy red carpet invitation that if you want to make America great again, the world great again, you know, there's going to be some rough time, but after that we're going to rebuild. Humpty Dumpty can be put back together again. It can be. And if you haven't been watching, it's crazy to watch what's happening in New York, Sanctuary City. You know, since the ICE lady, Tom Homan, has been up there getting rid of the illegal immigrants, all of a sudden the stealing is gone. The crime has cut down to next to nothing. And people are walking around like, what the hell is happening in this ghost town? You know, where all the illegal activities were taking place. Did you even know that shoplifting, stealing based on your colour, wasn't considered a crime anymore? How crazy is that? But tonight, we're going to be looking at JD Vance as he spits it out. there's some people that wouldn't even know how to go back to their latte, coffees, almond milk, and the pretense that they like the taste of olives and Brussels sprouts without garlic, butter and pepper on them. Here we go. He has seen since ice is crazy. Seen the footage in new streets that are covered with tents and just gone now. Yep, absolutely. And why can't you see anyone? Because they've got jobs, they're at work. Let's go. Let's see what we can come up with now. I hope you appreciate. Go heavy in comments because we're all learning here. What is JD Vance's wife's name? She's beautiful, but let us know what it is. And tell us who the 3 biggest female picks for Donald Trump are that are kicking absolute ass. Hey, Celestia, 1980, new member. Not too cow to you, my friend. Not too cow to you. Carl P is in the house. We're making some shirts up, and we're making shirts maybe for the channel soon. Let's get into it. This guy doesn't realize he's about to cop an ass kicking. Let's go.
Mr. JD Vance, who was here last year as senator, and we are very happy that Munich, and we are very much looking forward to his speech. Please welcome Vice President JD Vance.
Well, thank you, and thanks to all the gathered and media professionals, and thanks especially to the host of the Munich Security Conference for being able to put on such an incredible event. We're, of course, thrilled to be here. We're happy to be here. And, one of the things that I wanted to talk about today is, of course, our shared values. And, it's great to be back in Germany. As I was here last year as United States Senator. I saw Foreign Minister Foreign Secretary David Lammy, and joked that both of us last year had different jobs than we have now. But now it's time for all of our countries, for all of us who have been fortunate enough to be given political power by our respective peoples, to use it wisely to improve their lives. And I want to say that, I was fortunate in my time here to spend some time outside the walls.
I don't know if we're going to be copping interference here because YouTube doesn't like what we're talking about either. Let's see.
This conference over the last 24 hours, and I've been so impressed by the hospitality of the people, even as, of course, as they're reeling from yesterday's horrendous attack. And the first time I was ever in Munich was with
So, team, let's see what's going on. Okay, team. So at the moment, I don't think this is going to be watchable. Fuck's sake. Fucking hate YouTube. Guys, this happens all the time when you touch subjects that left-leaning subjects don't like. The people in charge of YouTube, the algorithm, etc. So basically what's occurring is I'm going to have to put this as a standalone video, where I won't be able to have you guys here in the background. But I'll get that up for you. ASAP, and that'll be out tomorrow. What we can talk about today is the fact that while we're greeting our new people, Christian, g'day, mate. Where are you from, my man? G'day, Jennifer from North Queensland. What we're seeing at the moment is what happens when Dad comes home. Basically, what's occurred is JD Vance has gone over to set down what the new scales of mutual respect and the rules are going to be for those that are leading the world, whether it be through the WHO, the World Health Organization, whether it be the World Economic Forum, whatever. They're walking away from some of these things because they've been disingenuous, taking money, taking advantage of the USA for a long, long time to the tune of trillions of dollars. If you've been watching the cut down of the USAID, it's got nothing to do with giving food to starving children in Africa. It's got to do with the basically the embezzlement, and the laundering of money, the wallet of the deep state throughout the rest of the world that gets funneled back to politicians, where you end up with people party, and Republican that are paid less than $300,000 a year, but have managed to get a portfolio of over $30 million in their bank accounts. It is corrupt to the very soul. And when you find out some of the things that Elon Musk, through the Department of Government officials, has been able to extrapolate, find out, ask them questions and not get an answer, it's incredible. We've got Ilhan Omar, who came as a refugee from Somalia, who now works in the government departments. I believe she's a congresswoman, who allegedly married her brother to get him citizenship to the USA, and then went back to her husband, divorced him and went back to her husband. And we all know with Islam, that is not the way it works. So hopefully she'll lose her job, and I'd like it even better if she got sent back to Somalia, because she's an evil one, that one. Guys and gals, Jennifer G was our last comment. I don't know if you can hear or see at the moment what's going on. Let us know. Okay. I think it's skipping a little bit at the moment. Right. So the reason why we talk about this, someone like myself who's been on the other side of the stick over in Africa under the United Nations Charter, okay, also with the multi-force organisation in the Sinai Peninsula of the Camp David Accords between Egypt and Israel, and then again under the United Nations for East Timor. Now, all of these things, when you're doing it, it doesn't feel like you're seeing the truth. It feels like there's dodgy shit going on. Some of the worst people I've ever run into are non-government organisation people like UNICEF, UNHCR, etc., that you'd think are full of empathy. But when you go over there, you realise, man, all I ever see is pissed people partying up in their group houses, and I don't see anything really happening to the people on the ground. Now, when I say that, I'm sure there are some UN, not workers, some non-profit organisations that I think are highly profitable, that are over in these countries that are trying to do the Lord's work, but then realising that this is a very, very corrupt organisation. And some of the sad things that happen about that is, if you do any research on Haiti, that is terrible. If you did some research right now on Rwanda, you'd be absolutely disgusted to hear that the people that were the victims of the 1994 genocide from the Hutus on the Tutsis in Rwanda, which is half the size of Tasmania, had 8 million people, massacred more than 1 million in a month. Sometimes the husband murdered the wife because she was Tutsi and he was Hutu, where you would think that you'd learn from your lesson after interventions occurred, and then people would maybe behave themselves. But no. Now the Tutsis, the ones that were getting massacred, have now moved across the border, the northwestern border of Rwanda, into the Central Republic of Congo, and now they're carrying out the atrocities on the people of the Central Republic of Congo. Now, there's two groups. There's the M23, I believe they're a militia group, probably more of a clandestine, sort of not government supported, but supported, if you know what I mean, organisation. And then there's the Rwandan forces. Now, their reason for going into Rwanda, I believe, is for up to $24 trillion worth of rare minerals that can be found around the Central Republic of Congo, which is significantly larger area than what the Rwandans are. But they pack a fair bit of punch for their size, and they're over there and they're absolutely cleaning up civilians and military targets. And some of the atrocities that are happening right now, I need to go and do some more information on it, but it is horrific. It's as bad as what it was in 1994. And I believe that the amount of people that have been genocided in places like the Central Republic of Congo is up around the 8 million to 10 million since 1994. It's absolutely heartbreaking. And to have lived over there, to have watched it, and to be surrounded by those smells, the taste in the air, the fear in the people's eyes, if you'd seen all that, you'd be absolutely stoked to see people like J.D. Vance who are going over there to defend the people that are dying on the eastern borders, of the Ukraine, of the conscripted soldiers of Russia. This needs to stop. A solution needs to be found. This should be intolerable in Africa as well as the European Union. NATO needs to be given some teeth where they can actually not just have Russia as the main focus of the reason why the North Atlantic Treaty Organization is there. For Article 5, once attacked one of us, you attack all of them attack together, which is the reason why Ukraine can't be part of NATO, because then there'd be no buffer between Russia and actual NATO forces. They'd be sharing a border, which also doesn't make sense why Russia would attack Ukraine, who have been persecuted for goddamn eons, because they basically live on a fault line, of where cultures collide, but also they're an amazing agricultural location. Amazing. What have we got here? We've got Nazi Mason. G'day, buddy. There you go, mate. We've got Trav. G'day, bud. We've got Harry there saying Nancy Pelosi earns $200,000 a year, but has a net worth of $220 million. It's a joke how they've never been investigated. As a matter of fact, there is jokes that, you should follow her stock picks because she's never got anything wrong. We've got JG here who's saying maybe if you can lower the quality of the playing YouTube clip, it might play better or it might not. Don't worry if it's too much stuffing around while streaming. No. Blake Smith, how you going, mate? How you going, my man? We're going to try that one out, and that is a great suggestion. So I'll go over here. So what you're going to be looking at mostly, the quality is already at 360p. So what if we knock it down to 240? We might be able to get something a bit better. For those that don't know, that's the wheel that's down the settings of YouTube. It doesn't appear to be working.
Was with my wife, actually, who's here with me today, on a personal trip. And I've always loved the city of Munich, and I've always loved its people. And I just want to say that we're very moved, and our thoughts and prayers are with Munich and everybody affected by the evil inflicted on this beautiful community. We're thinking about you. We're praying.
For those that don't know, Munich has just had yet another Islamic terrorist attack. Horrific.
For you, and we will certainly be rooting for you in the days and weeks to come. Now, I hope that's not the last bit of applause that I get, but we gather at this conference, of course, to discuss security, and normally we mean threats to our external security. I see many great military leaders gather.
Okay. It doesn't seem to be working. It doesn't seem to be working. I will make this video for you tomorrow, team, and I do apologise for this one, and I do appreciate you being here, hitting that like button and being part of the crowd here, because I want to learn along with you. And I think it's important that we start having real conversations in the world, because the reason why our politicians, have been acting the way they have been is because they're able to get away with it because no one ever calls them out, or we do it in such a low amount of numbers that we can't get traction. Now, we saw with the yes vote, all the non-political people, including our Aboriginal and Indigenous people, voted against it. Canberra was the only people that were shocked and surprised out of this, because they don't realise, they don't hear us talk about politics, but we still know bullshit when we see it. You can't have multiple flagpoles with multiple flags flying and still have unity. Okay, what you have then is division. That's why there should only ever be one flagpole, one flag, so we don't confuse people what to be proud of. And the only pride that I get from a flag is the Australian flag. A good timing and Grand Theft World podcast wraps up. Then Kaz comes on. There you go. Creates division. Damn right. Guys and gals, the dangerous thing about the politics is, if you cause enough division within your country and then you replace the good patriots within your country with immigrants that have no tie or reason to ever bleed for that nation, what ends up happening is you completely bleed out the culture, and then you don't have a country at all anymore. You don't have a culture anymore. Basically, what you've got is a conglomerate of fucking people that don't know their neighbour, that turn their back on crimes and would never step up and serve the nation, let alone fight for it. Okay, that's why our recruiting is down, because the franchise that is Australia is dog shit. On Australia Day, I didn't see any Australian flags at Canberra. That is a disgrace. That means wipe them all out, sack them all, replace them with farmers, replace them with good people, that are here for the country. The reason why Australia was so good 40 years ago, I've said this before, was because our country was full of veterans from World War I, from World War II, from Vietnam, from Korea, from farmers, the great women that had to make the nation go forward without any males here to assist them. Hard times. Now it is so easy. The light automatically comes on. Fat people, can get paid to sit at home and eat and still be a victim. It doesn't make sense to me. Kids can be disrespecting and hurting the elderly in the street and nothing happens. People are so busy saying you can't do this, you can't say that. Well, I'm never saying it to the people that are actually carrying out the crimes. That doesn't make sense. That's crazy, and that's how you lose a nation. That's why you need people that sound like a bull in a china shop there for a little while to go and get everyone back onto terra firma and understanding what right means, because it doesn't seem like we've got much pride going anymore. Lily Loopy facts, Phoenix, that's what happened to the US. Absolutely. The US degraded itself so severely by making everything that someone says policeable. We've got people that visit Australia now and laugh at us and say, we remember you guys being the tough guys, used with the land of the last frontier. But now they come over and go, dude, I get around in my car when I'm driving somewhere now, and it's like you're trying to navigate the Serengeti. Is that a lion over there? Is that a crocodile in the water? No, it's just a cop who's going to come and charge you a week's pay, okay, because you didn't have a seatbelt on while he didn't have a seatbelt on his motorbike, or because a mobile phone that you might have got called by a doctor or by your child's school while you're driving to work. Bam, take a week's pay off people that already are doing it hard. Our inflation, tell me, what level do you reckon our inflation's at? I reckon it's 35 to 40%. It's supposed to be off a basket of goods that most people would be expected to buy weekly. Now, when you look at the price of things, our inflation, there is no way it's 3%. There's no way it's 5%. The danger is that if our inflation gets beyond, for your wages to keep up with, because our dollar's value is falling precipitously, what happens is you cannot save anymore. Because if you put money in the bank, the interest rate is lower than the inflation rate. So the $10,000 that you put in the bank 2 years later only buys $8,000 worth of goods. Thrown your money away. Hey, Stagey, how you going? Stagey, you need to change your name, my man. Sorry, don't really know what's going on. Just found this going back to bed, Kaz. Make a great video, mate. Absolutely is. And Stagey, just remember, for those in the military, it is politics that governs what happens to you and whether you come back alive. And that things like rules of engagement. Now, I saw a video the other day. Here we go. Eddie Bennett, is it the junior? Good morning from across the pond. Ed Bennett, the fourth. Okay, we're going to talk to him for a second. But for starters, I'd like to say, Ash, thank you very much for the Nutsu cow there. That will go towards my daughter's future. I really appreciate it, mate. And I today, and I look forward to speaking to you and giving you a personal well done. You probably got my message today, actually. So thank you, mate. Ed Bennett from America. His father was a veteran as well. He's a legend. You know, this young guy is growing up into a fit, strong U.S. infantry soldier. Can we get some thumbs up there for Eddie Bennett, as well as Stagey, who's above him? And there's a reason why we should be giving thumbs up to Stagey, but I don't want to call him out and get him in trouble. Mr. Buckaroony, sorry I am late, Kaz. Mate, all of a sudden it's working fine. Now we can't play the video, but I'll make a video for it tomorrow, mate. For those who don't know, Mr. Buckaroony is a servant of the nation. He knows as well as I do, whether you like politics or whether you don't, it is more important that we talk about politics and sports, because it keeps our politicians that have never done a day's job, a day's hard work in their lives. All right. Carl P's down there. He's excited. He's got some boxing shirts getting made up for him and his family. Always remember, hashtag men don't kick. Does anyone know who they're talking to there? Does anyone realize this is JD Vance, former Trump hater, now the vice president of the USA, just went to Munich, absolutely tore their ass about stepping up and actually being a union that is that does the right thing, that weeds out corruption, etc. So, yeah, stop raining up there yet, Buck? Yeah, we've got some horrific rain happening up in North Queensland at the moment. And Mr. Buckaroony, I swear he doesn't know, but I reckon he's got ADHD too. And this is going to stop him from doing his daily tasks, but he can put his tinny out there with Rafa, which is his dog. Nazi Mason. Hey, Kaz, when you get time, mate, we'd appreciate a reply on the bat phone. Absolutely, mate. Can you send us another text now so I know what name I've got you under, my dude? You know, because I put your nicknames in and then all of a sudden I'm like, where's that guy? All right. When did you send your message? Dillymaz, politics is like letting the bully in 5th grade make up the rules you live the rest of your life by. That is, whoa. Politics is like letting the school bully in 5th grade make up the rules you live the rest of your life by. Absolutely. Absolutely. There we go. One of the on the land. What's this one? Matty H is here too. On the land of stage now. Okay, I think I know who that is. I think that might be our guy we're talking to earlier. But that's way too much, sir. You do not need to be making donations like that, team. From here on in, the donations we get go towards my daughter's future. It all gets invested. For those that don't know, we used to give all of the money to people in the street, but it wasn't really getting the appreciation that you would have expected. We also bought a car for nearly $7,000 for an Indian family that had never had a car before, and this allowed them to have air conditioning in India so they could sit there, listen to the cricket in the 50-degree heat. You know, we've done some beautiful things. You've helped us here. Stagey, can we get some thumbs up for him? And I really appreciate you, mate. Nutsu cow. Nutsu cow. Okay, on the land, like and reply. Anyway, Elijah, anyone off to Pookie tomorrow? We have got some people that are joining the army tomorrow, Eli. It's fantastic. We get some thumbs up for the newest to hit the ground running literally tomorrow at Kapooka. They'll swear in oath of affirmation for their country, and let's hope that they are treated with kid gloves, but also respect for their entire career. Team, yes, I saw the bridge wash out, the ginger beers to the rescue. Well done, engineers. Hardest working people in the army, no doubt. We've seen a couple of people that want to try out for artillery, which surprised me. Always 3 thumbs, team. It makes Kaz feel calm. No, it makes me feel like there's a little bit of sailors having fun in a shower and one of them's holding the microphone. What else we got? I think we've got a little bit of a delay here, team. You know, I'm watching 2 screens at once, which is fairly coordinated for me. Wait a sec. We've got Mr. Mason here. Oh, yeah, there we are. Got him here. Wait 2 seconds. What's he got to say? A sec. He hasn't got his name there, so I can read it out. I've been thinking about what work I should be doing in the meantime to show. Okay. Yep, I know what that's about. I'll give you an answer as soon as we get off here, my man. Guys, if you want to, if you need any sort of assistance, if you need one-on-one counseling or coaching, bam, jump on the Patreon, jump on the phone, and you and I have a one-on-one conversation. I feel sorry for the poor bastard today. You know, I had a guy that jumped on, and for an hour I was speaking to him, and he hardly got a word in. I answered all of his questions. I think he walked away really goddamn happy, but I think he also thought, holy shit, if everyone is like this, you know, I'm in for a ride. Eddie Bennett. And mate, that is, okay, that's about $1.80 in American money, you know, but thank you very much, Eddie Bennett. I'm more than happy to support the future generation. Thank you, because you actually protect the future generation right now. So well done, and I appreciate you and the land of the free that are actually stepping up. Because I tell you, Eddie, we had Australia Day the other day, 26th of January, which is Australia Day, and I didn't see an Australian flag. At the same time, I turn the TV on and I see people crying watching the Super Bowl with the US flag everywhere. And that's the way it used to be in Australia, you know, not so long ago. Something happened with the 19 and we haven't bounced back, and it actually hurts my heart. I love my country. It's on my arm. It's on my back, you know, and it's been in my life, my entire life. I saw a truckie today with an Australian flag in his cab, you know, and I gave him the salute. How you going, mate? And I could tell he knew what I was talking about when I pointed up at the cab. The best time I've had for a while. Maybe a stupid question, but if I bring SIGs to Kapooka, will they get confiscated? Elijah, they won't, but I really do not understand why anyone would smoke in the army. It takes away from your fitness, makes you stink like shit, something you're goddamn dependent on, and something that can get everyone else killed when you let off a smell that can be smelt by the enemy. So that might be a good time. How's this one, Eli? Wouldn't that be a good time to actually see how long you can do this rodeo for and not smoke? See if you can make it for a day. I know it's hard to be addicted to something. If someone said to me, Kaz, no coffee, Kaz, no Coke as a 54-year-old, I'd be crippled. You know, but a bet's a bet. Not see Mason. I've given up smokes for a month, plus for the army cold turkey. Yep, fantastic, Mason. And for Eddie Bennett, he'll be able to tell you that when you do something like Ranger School, you have to give up smoking that day. You cannot smoke the entire time. You give up as soon as you apply for that, apply for your Special Forces journey. Is anyone going to Kapooka on the May the 26th? Matty. Oh, question everything. Why? He started smoking in Kapooka. Why would you? Because then you could carry around your cigarette butts like you're a filthy bastard too. Is anyone going to Kapooka on the May the 26th? Let him know if you are, team. So that gives us a heads up too. No worries, Eli. Let's see if you can do it, my friend. Matty, is anyone going to Kapooka on the 26th? So that goes to tell your team that is how far out it's likely that if you have your dates now that they're taken up to May the 26th. Yep. So don't expect to be getting to Kapooka before the May 26th. Thank you very much for that, Matty. Eddie Bennett, I ain't no ranger yet, but I've seen smokes really dampen the human body, even when they look like a fitness jock. Absolutely. Yep. Sometimes you don't see it with the military because they're doing the fitness all the time, and so it doesn't catch up on them as much. But I can tell you, having been in the hospital for nearly 2 years now, the last 2 years, I've got the magic pill now, thank God, and it's great. But in the hospital, especially in Western Sydney, which is your Bronx lower socioeconomic area, it was heartbreaking, absolutely heartbreaking to see the amount of people you think they're there because of the smoking, the coughing, the panting, the pain they were in. No, it's just that they were sick and they were smokers, because as soon as they stop smoking, it tries to come out of them. And those poor bastards, you knew they were regretting it. We've got some people that smoke that are my age in our channel that are really, really hitting some hard times because of their smoking habit. I'm not here to tell you what to do. I'm not going to compound just like a cop does. You do you, but please, team, in this day and age, there's no one that can afford to fucking smoke, either physically or financially. Matty, it's good info, Kaz. As much as I got my date, I was hoping for March. Yeah, absolutely. You want to get in as soon as possible. When I speak to people, Matty, about the army, I swear to God, they must be thinking, is this guy hyping this up? Is Kaz getting paid to be talking shit like this? But I don't. I just don't want you to have a boring life. I want you to have a life where one day you're on podcasts, where you are immersed in history, whether a US soldier who's meeting an Australian for the first time soldier, or an Australian soldier who's doing an exchange with the USA or Canada or the Brits. When you meet people in different uniforms, carrying different assault rifles, swapping stories, girlfriends, numbers, friends, whatever, the brotherhood goes across the globe. And I tell you, when you've served in the military, you can go up to anyone in the military and go, yep, this is who I am. This is where I serve. And they'll probably say, hey, buddy, be here this time tonight. We will take you out. You're one of us now. Yep. Don't go up there in a group of 6 or 7. They'll think you're a threat. Infantry from 2 different countries don't get along when we turn up in groups. It's almost a gang. Beware. Ted, hey, Kaz, American infantry, very here. 2 deployments to Afghan. I lived in Sydney in my teens and went to high school in Australia. I was an army cadet and really respect the Australian Army. Hey, Kaz, American infantry here. Mate, 11 Bravo. Is that you, Teddy? Mate, thumbs up to our coalition partners. For a long time, I've had people say, Kaz, why do you always have this affinity for Americans? And it's because I've worked with you all my life. All my career, all my adult life, I was around US. When I was instructing in Australia, I had Special Forces Rangers. I've got the beret right behind me here, as a gift from one of the Rangers. I've got poker set from the other one trying to turn me into a compulsive gambler, I swear. Lovely, lovely people. And they've been doing some heavy lifting for a long time. Don't judge them on the politics. Don't judge them on their country's leaders. Judge them on the blue ribbon country they are, and they will treat you like a legend, like you are family, because they are actually a spiritual people that will carry that through with their actions when they greet a friend. Christian, I kicked smoking 6 years ago. I used to smoke a 25 pack a day for 5 years straight. Best decision I ever made was giving the shit up. Well done, Christian. And I love your name because I'm one too. I'm Catholic, but I think I'm Christian. Question everything always. We're doing fine until girls arrive or the beers do. That's right. Mason there giving some thumbs up there for Mr. Christian. Doesn't come up short, I tell you, team. Matty, I'm so keen for the experience, Kaz. I think the opportunity to grow and experience this lifestyle is so exciting. Yourself and Matty Morris were big influences for me. Matty, that is so good to hear because I'm telling you now, Matty Morris from Zero Limits, get on board on Spotify, team. When him and I have a talk, that's the one thing we say. It's one thing for War Pigs to put out a video which looks great. Another thing for you to hear Matty Morris speak, for him to keep people straight, for him to speak to Dan Fortune, one of the commanders of SASR who's about to tear Angus Campbell probably a new ass. When you hear us talking and telling you it's okay, change your life, live a life. If you've got something more in common with the 1914 digger than what you have with the liberal snowflake, fucking latte, what is it? Coconut milk coffee drinking weirdo. All of these tough guys for the left-leaning things that will never fight, they'll never serve. Their words are bigger than their bark. Their bark is bigger than their actions. You don't want one of those sort of lives. You want to go out there and be able to say what you did, not what you're going to do. Eddie Bennett says, I will say the infantry is a cult in itself. Yes, it is. But when they're going, we're there to help everyone out, and we're all sucking. We all suck together, and I don't mean like a sailor. Eddie Bennett, what you'd know about being infantry is our best stories come from our worst experiences that we share together. It is time in the actual crucible where we come together, work together, get through it. It's like a competition. Who's going to quit first? But guess what? You can't quit. You're in the jungle. You can't quit and just lay down because you don't like it or you're offended by the fucking jungle. Yeah. You've got to be there till the end, and you've got to pretend that it ain't even hurting. And then when you see someone in front of you adjust their pack, he's hurting more than me. He was the first one to blink. Now enjoy his pain, and then you'll stop thinking about your own. Eric Swanson says, hey, Kaz, I've just aced my JOA. I'm eligible for every role. Fantastic. They told me that infantry is not recruiting for 12. Now, Eric, I've just had this conversation. Now, on the ADF website, it is still a priority role. Get them and question that. Question it. Because they're trying to get someone else that is part of our channel into artillery. What you should do, Eric, is get onto Patreon, and you and I can have a talk tomorrow about that, okay? And we'll sort you out. You've got a lot to pick through, and we can have a talk, extrapolate the jobs, and I'll let you know which ones are poison and which ones are great, which one you can do for 20 years. Mason says, Eric, they said the same thing to me, but yet it's still a priority role. Absolutely. And Mason is who I was talking to. Dan Fortune was there when I was a squadron OC, I think. Yeah, Buckaroony, he's a hard hitter, that one. Question everything, duty to the people first. Absolutely. But this is the hardest thing, question everything always. What happens when you get to the stage as a serviceman where you start to look around, you still absolutely love your country? It's like being a parent. You look at your kid and go, I love the shit out of my child, but I don't know why. All I get back is, pushback. All I get is no's. All I get is complaints. It's like being a serviceman. You look around and you see the people that don't give a shit about Anzac Day won't stop for Remembrance Day, and you go, these are the motherfuckers that I'm supposed to be ready to die for. Wouldn't die for that person, wouldn't die for her, wouldn't die for that slob, wouldn't die for that weirdo. At what stage you're like, holy shit, who here would I die for? But I tell you what, every single day, because I'm a talkaholic, I meet great people everywhere I go, everywhere. Yeah, it's just getting harder to find them. Something happened with COVID. We've been stifled, and I don't know what the hell's going on. Sorry, I typed it wrong before. I played last post on Anzac Day at the RSL, not Australia Day. That's okay. The last post is chilling. It can be very, very sad when you're standing beside your mate's casket and they play the last post for a dead friend. But what a respectful way to tell you the reason why you need to know drill is because one day you're going to need it for a friend's funeral, a casket, a carrying. Ted Derringer. Sorry, I took the wrong. Okay, we saw that one. Jackie Duff. G'day, buddy. How you going? Eric. Yeah, it's still a priority role. We talk about infantry. My careers coach wants me to change my preferences. Don't know what to do. Of course, the career coach wants you to change your preferences because he wants you to tick something, that suits Army's needs, not necessarily your needs. Again, get on the Patreon. I will arm you with the statements that you need to say to him that will make a difference. They tried to push me to artillery too, says Maddie. And then we've got Navy here. Currently studying with the diversity and inclusion in studying in literally pure fucking torture. Absolutely. We've seen the USA completely sack people based on DEI, and here's Australia still going hard, accepting it. Nothing good happens from diversity, equity, and inclusion. It's just like when you hear people talk about bullshit about, this might get some people say, I don't agree. But when you see people that, wait, where are we? Okay. When you see people talk about emotional intelligence, that doesn't exist. That doesn't exist. Emotional intelligence means when a man works alongside females and can talk without insulting her. That's it. It doesn't exist, just like HR doesn't exist in most male-dominated environments either. We have unions, sure, but those things are for female-included workspaces. That's it. Anyway, WASP says they're studying the diversity and inclusion. Yep. Eric sounds like you need some new recruiters. Tell these guys to buzz off. Absolutely. You can use those words, Eddie. You can tell them, go fuck yourself. Don't say that. But, yeah. Stickman, they always tell you you'd be a good fit for whatever they need to fill. Absolutely. Or were they not allowing men? I'm sure that if you were an Indigenous female that was going for infantry, they would have you in already. Outback Recluse, that's a good name. Have you thought about Thailand instead, my friend? But I have to leave this chat. Either you or me have sunspots or something causing broadcast interference, and it's hard to keep track of what's going on. I'll catch it on the replay. Outback Recluse, absolutely, mate. I appreciate you. Sometimes when we talk about certain subjects, Outback, we get a bit of dramas. I need to also hardwire my internet. So my apologies. It's not your end. It's mine. That's what she said. Thank you, buddy. Enjoy yourself. And we love our Outback common sense guys and gals. Team, it's so hard to push a channel like In the Trenches with Kaz and tell you how great the life is of a soldier without also feeling terrible that in many ways you're also breaking the heart of those that get told no. So I am cognizant of that. I am. And I have the utmost, respect for those that try that fall short. It's a painful experience. And I have nightmares at the thought of if I had not have got into the army, where would I be now with my ADHD and outspoken, sometimes bullshit opinions? Guys, if you can, hit that like. We've got almost none. If you don't like it, don't. Eddie Bennett, well, it's good chatting. I'll head off to bed. Eric's, it's the same everywhere here in the States. If they need a quota for certain MOSs to fill, they'll push it on that. Absolutely, they will. And it's good to see, Eddie Bennett, that recruiting, since Donald Trump has got in, and Pete Hegseth has got in, that your recruiting is skyrocketing again. Pride is back. Respect for leadership. Tate says, yeah, definitely need to go to Ethernet connection or maybe bandwidth internet. Yeah, I agree, Tatey. I am not a IT guy. Computers didn't exist when I joined the military. And at the moment, I just need to pay someone to come in and set it up. So I've got no more excuses. You're exactly right. Exactly right. Question everything. Get Starlink. Well, that would be a excellent thing to do. The unfortunate thing after my ex, and I pay for her internet too and all that sort of shit. So that would make it impossible for them. Eddie Bennett, just be sure to plant your feet and tell them what you want. Or you'll go talk to someone else. That'll make them move a little bit and make sure you mean it, or they'll call you bluff. Absolutely. Harry M says, I wish Australian ADF recruitment would get their stuff together. Guys and gals, it must be deliberate what's happening with the recruiting process. It could not be worse than what it is in Australia. Ed Bennett Jr., it's as bad as it can be. It can take a year for someone to get in at times if they've got some little complications or hurdles. When I joined, like I discussed today, when I was talking to a well-spoken young fella, when I joined, you used to be able to walk in. Now, someone tell me, is it because of Islamic threat that they're scared someone's going to go in and do something? Why they don't have a walk-in, policy? That's what it should be. Because when you walk in, I get to see how tall you are, how wide you are, what your BMI is, the way you communicate, your body language. And I get to talk to you right now. Close the door behind that motherfucker. We want him. And we want him now. And I can tell you exactly where you fit. Maybe we need to go back to you just join the army as a number, right? And then your merit on the Kapuka course determines where you go to. So people that come in there that do the bare minimum in fitness turn up and they get ostracized over to become, you name it, the corps that no one wanted, hanging artillery over someone's head going, you're going to artillery at this stage, mate. You better do better in fitness. Yeah, but we do need fit people in artillery as well. Stickman says, USA stopped turning away the men that are most likely to serve, and suddenly there was a surge. Who would have known? Absolutely. Should be 2 months. Absolutely. Question things always 2 months. I reckon that is a fair time. I would like to make a book recommendation for you, Kaz. The book is Weak Link by Brian Mitchell. Whoa. That sounds like a great book, but unfortunately, mate, I only get time to answer comments, answer phone calls, make videos, and look in despair at my crypto. WASP, Australia needs to bring back recruiting officers for police and military. The police need it really bad. Yep. Take for a country that is losing more than they're gaining, they make it incredibly hard to apply. Absolutely, Teddy. Totally agree. Teddy, it's about how Washington society, women handpick the generals into accepting women into military. Look, the danger, Ted, is not with females getting in the military. Then they get to leadership positions at times. Now, I'm totally happy with Tulsi Gabbard and what she's done, for the security secretary role. Now, I don't know what it's like to be in her rifle company, in her battalion that she's the lieutenant colonel of. I think she's had to give away that role. But, we've got 27% females in the Australian Army. And at the end of the day, we are training to fight men. We need to remember that. We've only got one regiment and we're completely fucking it. We've got motorised and mechanised, but no vehicles, trying to make Bushmasters like some tactical vehicle, which they're not. They're protected mobility. Telling companies, you're doing this, you're doing that. No. We don't specialise companies. We've got a support company for that. Practice light infantry until you have everyone qualified in what it is for a full turnover. Otherwise, you are cooking the fucking books. As simple as that. Harry, what type of report? Mr. Buccarini, in 1982, I had my final interview on Thursday. I was on a train to basic training the following Tuesday. Holy shit. That took you ages. Brady, it's pretty much how it was in the 80s. Walk in, test, medical, off you go. Absolutely. Don't touch your wiener the day before you do your medical. I did that. And therefore I had too much protein in my urine sample. They thought there was a problem. And then someone just said, is there any chance that maybe you found a penthouse the night before? I said, yes. They said, that's the problem. Piss in this bottle for 24 hours. There you go. You're fine. Sledgehammer says, hey, Kaz. Hi, everyone. I'm looking at joining Army, but need your expertise in navigating a career for a 42-year-old, still mentally and physically fit. I'll join you on Patreon. Cheers, bro. Sledgy, we can talk tomorrow, mate. Absolutely no problems at all. 42 is fine. You've just got to go in there and be realistic of what you're going into. We've got people that I can tell you right now that are part of the channel that are 12, 13 years older than you, and they made it in. Tatey, what do you think Australia needs in terms of politics? Do you think Dutton is the answer? Dutton is hard to like. That's the problem. We need, unfortunately, hard times to happen. We haven't got to the bottom of the barrel yet so that people are desperate for an answer. We need a problem that can only be help. Maybe Donald Trump is our answer. Maybe he's going to say, Australia, you have got the worst cabinet and disingenuous, fat, panting, pug fucking government representatives I've ever seen. There is no leadership amongst your cabinets. It looks like a geriatric farm. It looks like Biden's fitness organization's PT session. They look useless. Yeah. Maybe he's going to put the pressure on, say, you need to ramp up, or these tariffs are coming for you as well. Love your people, don't like your politics. Kevin Rudd, you fucked it for everyone. You disrespectful little piece of shit. Channel 7, 9, and 10, ABC, again, you need to be dragged over the coals for twice a day, bringing up what you hate about another country's politician, thinking that maybe this could come back and hurt us. Because I think it will. Mason, lads, it might be possible to fuck up at an interview, but put me in the field and they would see what I'm made of. That's right. Yeah. Well, I was in there for 24 years with ADHD, mate. Just not diagnosed. IP is just Labor of 10 years ago, and Labor is Greens 10 years ago. Yeah, we're seeing some weird shit happening. Half the LNP is Labor plants anyway. Absolutely. They're like the lawyers at a family court. I had a glucose imbalance, had to do a day of blood test, and that was okay. Great. That's great to hear, mate. Simon Powell, Brother Dave, Mr. Buck, Dwayne. Yep, Simon Powell, the Raffy here, the Raffy representative. Simon Powell. Harry Meso says, hey, sorry, they're fucking you around, man. Get onto them, as I'm sure you are. Mr. Buckarty, Kaz will be my defense minister. Well, I'm actually looking, what I'm looking at doing is going, just doing a courtesy phone call. I'll wait for another few weeks, actually, until there's probably some injured people from Bimbar platoon and some of the other platoons. And what I'm looking at doing is going up to the School of Infantry and seeing if I can't do a mentoring, public speaking initiative with the sick soldiers, the injured soldiers, and then I'll stay there all day and then go and talk to any of the platoons that might want me to go and talk to them via depot company. Now, I'm sure that almost everyone in the Army shares my views but cannot say my views, and mucho respecto to them. And if they don't like what I'm saying, that's fine too. Okay, that is fine too. But the School of Infantry was my home for so long, and one thing I did have was passion. Okay, the one regret I have for my whole Army career, you probably wouldn't expect this, is I always lived in the moment. I always liked the field side of things, but I never looked after my uniform as well as what I should have. I always had the ugliest pack. My gear didn't look good. I never quit. I never came back early from my things, but my uniform, I wish I had have treated with a little bit more respect, with my family name on there, with the Australian flag on there. Yeah, that was one of my regrets. Because one day you take your uniform off, and the day that you take your uniform off, Brady can tell you this, Mr. Buckarini can tell you this, you will have tears in your eyes the last day that your uniform comes off. Mine's in the closet right there now with Elton John music playing. Stickman, that's what your parade uniform is for. Yeah, look, I get that. I get it, but it is one of my regrets all the same. Guys, we've been on here for 59 minutes and 14 seconds. Let's get out of here. Thank you very much for donating your time. Thank you very much for donating your shekels towards my daughter's future. We're going to do another financial immersion as well soon. I'm hoping to get a video a day out for 8 or 9 minutes, and so that you can really get your fingers into topics and then start to actually send them to me and say, Kaz, put this one in your pie hole. So if you're on Patreon, start sending me links. If you send me one, just send me one. If you see a link that you'd love to see, a reaction to, send it through to me, and you might see it up the same day, just like Harry sent this one to me today. See you later, guys. We need to speak about the elephant in the room, and that is politics, team. That is what puts men in caskets if we don't listen, and it allows countries to turn into a banana republic. Let's have a great day. All the best to you guys and your mothers. And let's hope that the world is on the pendulum swing back to normality, because, geez, we can't go too much further left. See you later, guys. Hold yourself responsible. Have an opinion on everything, and then back it up with knowledge. See you later. Mucho respecto. Love and prayers to you all. See ya.